Welcome to Ambassadors Live. My name is Alex Steele, and I'm from Iowa City, Iowa. Here at Ozark, I'm studying biblical communications.
And my name is Alyssa Foster. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, and I'm studying children's ministry. Right now, we are in the Student Center, which is a great place for students to hang out and be in community with one another. Here at Ozark Christian College, we know that many people want to serve God and make a difference with their lives, but they don't know where to start. OCC helps students discover that God has a kingdom assignment with their name on it, and we help prepare them for whatever that is. You can be an ambassador wherever you go, and that's where we got the name Ambassadors Live.
In each Ambassadors Live episode, we'll have interviews with graduated seniors, devotions with OCC professors, games, giveaways, questions and answers, and we'll also give away an ambassador scholarship worth $2,000 every episode.
I had the opportunity to sit down and have a conversation with Zach Totero, who's a graduated senior coming to Ozark Christian College this fall.
Hey, Zach.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Kind of stuck in quarantine and sick of it at this point. But
hey, I feel that. Hopefully it's almost over, but it's so good to see you. We are so excited to hear from you and get to know you a little bit, and then also just hear about how God has incorporated Ozark Christian College into your story and into your kingdom assignment. But before we talk about Ozark and your story, I would love to ask you just a few silly questions. So first of all, you just mentioned quarantine. Everyone right now is in quarantine, stuck inside. I want to know if you have been watching TikTok videos.
Probably a little bit more than I should be at this point, but yes.
I feel that. Okay, so have you done any of the TikTok trends, or what are some of your favorite kind of TikTok videos to watch?
I am definitely not a TikTok dancer, and I'm not on par with any of those trends. There's a couple that I would be down to try, but none of them involve dancing, so.
That's awesome. That's funny. I tried to make a few TikTok dancing videos, and it is definitely not my calling. So, okay. And then also, along with quarantine, have you gone on any road trips, or have you just gone on a car ride, just to get out of your house?
Not really. I've been out of the house a couple times. I like to hike and just skateboard around. So
yeah, that's awesome.
It gets me out of the house, so it's nice.
Yeah, cool. Well, speaking of road trips, Zach, I would love for you to share where you're from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am from the East Coast. I'm from Greenville, New Hampshire, which is pretty far from Ozark. But
yeah, how far is that from Ozark?
There. I think it's 23 and a half, 24-ish hour drive. So I will not be driving it, at least not for the not for the first time this fall.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Okay, well, obviously that is super far away from Ozark. So I would love for you to just share a little bit of why you chose Ozark to be the place where you prepare for your future ministry, even though it's so far away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I took my Tuesday tour back in November, and there were a lot of good things, but the thing that really sold me about Ozark was just the people and how just how genuine and how welcoming they really are. I think it was Dennis had their open dorm night on the night that I took my tour, and so it was just 10 of us and a guitar in a dorm room, just singing songs. I don't really have any musical ability, but it was nice to kind of join in and listen. And we ended up moving down into the lobby after the dorms closed, and there was probably 20 to 30 students just singing worship songs. And my favorite song is Tremble, and we were singing that song, and I kind of just stopped and realized well, these kids really want to be here. It's not, nobody's forcing them to come to this school and to study what they're studying. They really genuinely want to be here, chasing after God and building a relationship. And they were just so genuine and authentic. And seeing that really showed me that I could make Ozark home for the next 4 years, because everybody just is so nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing a little bit of your experience. And I'm super excited for you to just be able to experience that more as you become a full-time student here on campus, because as a current student right now, I can definitely say that is an everyday type of feel here at Ozark. So I love the community here. I'm super excited that you get to be a part of that. So what are you interested in studying? Why are you coming to Ozark?
Right now, my plan is to study biblical communications and either minor in church planting or youth ministry. I'm not totally sure. I know I want to go in the direction of ministry, but I'm not 100% sure where that's gonna go. So
Yeah, for sure. So here at Ozark, we believe that everybody has a kingdom assignment that God has put their name on. And you shared just a little bit about what your kingdom assignment is. But how has God kind of revealed that kingdom assignment to you? And then also, what is one way you're excited to be prepared for your kingdom assignment while being a student here at Ozark?
yeah, so a couple years ago, I started hosting and doing a little bit more leadership at my church's youth group. I was able to speak a couple times. And this past year, I've had an internship doing youth ministry. So I've been able to be a part of that. And last summer at a CIY Move event, I met Isaac Langford and Michael DeFazio. Isaac's a
Cool.
student, and then obviously Michael is a professor. And I was feeling really called to ministry through there, but I wasn't sure how to go about pursuing that. And so I was able to have we sat down and had breakfast, us three, and we talked a little bit about a potential future at Ozark. And something that Michael DeFazio said that really resonated with me was, instead of praying, like, God, if you want me to go to Ozark, give me a sign. He said, instead, like, pursue it and then pray, God, take me out of this if this is not from you and if this is not where you want me. And that was a huge step for me, because if I hadn't have heard that and pursued that, I probably would have never booked my plane ticket and Tuesday tour and stuff to come out and visit. And then, I mean, if I didn't visit, I'm not sure if I would have committed to the school, because just being on campus is really what showed me how cool the school was. So yeah, that was really what kind of led me to there. And I'm still, like I said, I'm not 100% sure where I want to go, but I know I want to be in ministry and pursue that. And then just with the tour, I'm super excited to be taught and to learn from the professors at Ozark. Like, they're so knowledgeable. They're some of the smartest people that I've met, honestly. And just seeing the way that they encourage and like care for the students, like they're their own kids, like it's amazing. So I'm really excited to be a part of that at Ozark.
Yay, that's awesome. Zach, thank you so much for sharing that. We are grateful that you pursued Ozark, and we are grateful that God has placed that on your heart. And again, we are just so excited for you to be here on campus. But thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your story. You rock, Zach, and we cannot wait to have you here on campus.
Thanks, Zach, for having a conversation with us. It was great to hear from you. Now, we're going to hear a message from two of our faculty members here at Ozark, Michael and Beth DeFazio. Michael is a New Testament professor, and Beth is a biblical communications professor. Following their message, we're going to give away an ambassador scholarship, so stick around.
When I was a senior in high school, the last place I would have thought I would have ended up was Ozark Christian College. That was where my parents went to school. That was their story. I wanted my own college. I wanted my own story. I wanted to find my own place where I could learn and grow. Now, don't get me wrong, I loved the church and I served the church in a number of different ways. I just didn't envision a life dedicated to full-time ministry as the life that I wanted. And besides that, I was fully 100% committed to never marrying a pastor. Well, I did everything that I could to get around this. I looked into the military, that didn't work out. I looked into some various scholarships to other schools, that didn't work out. What I did end up with was 2 scholarships, both of which I earned at summer Bible camp, and both of which were to, you guessed it, Ozark Christian College. I couldn't turn away free money. There was no way I was doing that. So I committed to going for 1 year. Now, I'll be honest with you, when I showed up, the first couple of days were really difficult. I was lonely. I was a little bit frustrated. I was confused because this wasn't the story that I thought I was going to be living out. But really, honestly, it only took about a week and I was completely hooked. I knew that this is where I wanted to be and it's where I needed to be. And part of that was because of the community that I found myself surrounded by. Students and faculty and staff alike who were all dedicated to kingdom work, and I needed that in my life. I had classes that I loved, professors who I knew cared about me as a person. They wanted me to learn, they wanted me to grow, but they also wanted to develop in me a servant-heartedness for the kingdom. And that was incredible. I also appreciated the ministry opportunities that I got, the places where I got to serve and to learn and to train. And I found out, oh, actually, I do want to live a life dedicated to ministry. Now, I was still pretty committed to never marrying a pastor. But then my senior year came around and I met this guy.
And my story of becoming an ambassador really starts, I think, from a very early age. One of the things my mother did really well is she instilled in me a sense of calling, of, hey, God wants to do something with you. God has a plan for your life. God has important tasks for you to complete. And she would teach me as I grew older that it was my job to learn to listen to his voice and to discern from his word and from others, and just from paying attention to myself, what that calling would look like, what shape it would take. And I remember there was a really important moment for me in the middle of high school. I can still remember the place. I can remember the day. It was June 4th, and I was at a camp, and my youth minister, Jason, was preaching. And I just had this sense all evening long, like there was a stirring in my soul. There was a fire inside. And I was trying to discern what it was. And I'd been talking with a friend of mine about, man, you think we're supposed to be called to do vocational ministry? Like, is this whole thing for us? And we'd repented of our sin earlier in that week, and we'd devoted ourselves to the Lord as best we could. So I knew this stirring was something else. And as the night went on, it became clear, no, like this is the time when I'm supposed to commit to this. And so at the end of that message, after the worship and the sermon was over, and I looked at my buddy and I said, hey man, you ready for this? And he said, I don't know yet. I'm not sure. And I said, all right, well, peace. And I went up front, and my youth minister wrapped me up in a big old hug. And I said, man, I'm in. I think God's calling me to ministry. And he said, I've been waiting for this for a long time. I've noticed the working of God in your life, and I thought this was where things were going. And there were some hiccups and bumps along the way. I still had half a high school to complete, and there were times when I tried to weasel my way out of what I was pretty sure God was calling me to do. But he kept me close, and through various people continued to pull me back to that. And Ozark was the place for me to go. I had an older sister who went there. My youth ministers, Jason and Jimmy, and so many others that I'd known had gone there. And so I showed up, and kind of like she said, I didn't know what to expect. It was a really small school. It was in a not super cool town, but here I am. And honestly, pretty quickly, I fell in love with it, man. Community professors, all of those things. And for me, it was really a love of learning. Up to that point, I wasn't a big reader of books, but I absolutely fell in love with the study side of things and realized this is a wonderful way to worship God and to serve other people and experience the joy of being a saved person in Christ. And I still remember one class, it was on how to study the Bible. And I was sitting just a couple rows back, and it was like this light bulb came on. It was almost a second calling moment for me, or another moment of clarity. And it hit me that not only like, am I actually able to read the Bible for myself? That was so exciting. But I want to. I remember in that moment saying, Lord, I will spend the rest of my life helping other people learn how to hear your voice from your word. And that's what I've done, to try to help people see Jesus clearly by listening well to the scriptures. And I've been an ambassador as a spiritual formation pastor, as a life groups pastor, as an adult discipleship pastor, as a mentor to young guys, as a speaker at various churches, my own and others, and events, and now as a professor at Ozark Christian College.
And I have been an ambassador by serving at an organization called Christ in Youth. I've been an ambassador by teaching junior high students, by being a children's pastor. I've been an ambassador in my own home as a full-time stay-at-home mom. And now I too am an ambassador at teaching at OCC. Now again, I mean, if you would have asked me as a senior in high school, where will you be in 20 years? I wouldn't have been able to envision any of this. I wouldn't have been able to articulate even one page of the story that God was writing in my life. But man, am I grateful for that story. We both are. Mm-hmm. We are so thankful for the calling that God placed on our lives, not just to be an ambassador for Ozark Christian College, but to be an ambassador for Christ.
Yes, and there's no way for you to know where you're going to be in 20 years or what the future looks like. But we do know that God is good, and he is ordering the world for our good. And we cannot wait to see where this journey takes you as an ambassador for him.
We've now come to the end of our first episode of Ambassadors Live. The only thing that we have left is to give away our first Ambassadors Scholarship, which is worth $2,000. The first winner of the Ambassadors Scholarship is Megan Arnold. Congratulations, Megan. We will be in contact with you. If you guys want a chance to win an Ambassadors Scholarship, you can find the link in the chat room and enter questions to our current students.
Seniors and transfers, when you apply for free by June 30th, you will be awarded a $1,000 Ozark Scholarship.
And that's our show. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, and we'll see you next Monday at 7 p.m. Central Time.